Alright guys and gals, today we're going to be looking at the Volkswagen Atlas and the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. And basically, this is Volkswagen's version of a Q8, an Audi Q8, and this would be more like a Q7. So I'm not saying they have the same platforms as those vehicles, but that's essentially what's going on here. So from the start, you can see the Atlas is a more squared off vehicle versus the Cross Sport. And so just looking at this one, if you are familiar with an Audi Q8, you know, just kind of the sloping rear line, you know, bigger wheels. It is squared off in the front, but it's just not as functional, in my opinion. So it all depends on what your interests are. To me, I actually like the Atlas better. I know it's not as stylish, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the Atlas Cross Sport first. And it does not have an automatic trunk. So, or an automatic tailgate. So this is nice. This is good room. This is a 5-seater, so this is actually really good space back here. You could use this and do a lot with this. I wish the tailgate would be automatic. I'd pay the extra couple $100 for that. The wheels are nice. The stance is nice. It definitely looks masculine, and the doors feel solid. This is soft touch. This is hard touch. This is a soft touch material. This is not a leather seated vehicle. So, stepping inside, room feels good. I like the quilting in the seats. You could sit 5 back here. This floor bottom is flat for the most part, and you have vents here. So that's neat. The doors, if you haven't noticed, the theme with Volkswagen is just very simple and functional. It's kind of like some BMWs in the 80s to me. But you don't even have accents. Like I had a 2013 Passat, and it had silver accents on the window switch, which I really liked. As you can see back here, visibility may not be great, but I like this vehicle. For a 5-seater, it looks great. The lines are very nice. This is a very squared off look. You know, it's not kind of rounded off, so I really like that. It has good space for 5 people and good, you know, luggage space as well. So I'm curious to see if the footprint of the regular Atlas justifies its size with interior volume. All right, so stepping into the front seat of this vehicle, ride height is very nice. You feel like you're sitting up. I wouldn't say it's super commanding, because the hood does come up a little bit in your line of sight, which isn't bad. But you can set your keys in your wallet here. You can see you have a mix of analog and digital and the gauge cluster. And this is a typical Volkswagen steering wheel and kind of button layout. Very easy to use, very simple. This vehicle does not have heated seats. I think that might be lane keep assist. I don't know. But the touchscreen is nice. It's a good size. And again, just more of the same. The simplicity. You have the Volkswagen Connect system. I don't know what that's called, but if you're in a wreck, or, you know, you can do the SOS, or if you want a maintenance report thing, you can do that. And this rear view mirror is very tiny, because you're going to be using the backup camera. So anyway, nice interior, more of the same Volkswagen-y kind of stuff. So we will keep it moving. Actually, when you're stepping out, you do have to kind of plant your feet on the ground to pull up, so you can tell you're in a SUV. Good thunk on the clothes. So moving along to the Atlas. Now, looking at the wheels here and the wheels here, these are more traditional wheels, and I actually prefer them. They don't look as good, but just the quality of the ride, to me, is going to be a lot better. And like I said, I like the more traditional look and squared off styling of the regular Atlas. And that doesn't look bad. I mean, I would take either one of these vehicles, but I do like you have fog lights, and it is a bit wider. This is kind of in the shape of a, if we're being honest, of a Land Rover. Step around back. And so the Atlas does look a little bland around back. Now, this vehicle has metallic paint. It's a little bit better, but we'll start with this tailgate, which is not automatic either. But this is a, excuse me, 6-seater SUV. So that's nice. You know, the interior, the cargo area is a lot smaller. You can't put these seats down easily. And you have pretty good space. More space than that SUV. But let's go ahead and hop in and see what that's like. This does have metallic paint. Excuse me. Wow. This feels, this is not bad. Not bad at all. So the seating here is kind of like a minivan with the captain's chairs. So you have space where you can put things here if you have a pet or something like that. I do feel like I'm sitting further back from the driver than I do in the Sport we just looked at. Steering wheel and setup and everything is kind of the same. In the rear seating, this is kind of the look from the inside. Sorry about the poor lighting, but I'll open the door. One of the things I do notice, though, is that you have these sunshades here that you can put up. Ooh, are they intuitive? Yeah, so those work pretty well. But I feel like the ride height's about the same. But I just want to see how sitting in these rear seats is. All right, so, ooh, there's not much room back here. One thing I didn't notice are you have controls and switches down there for climate control. That's awesome. You have mat pockets in each seat. That's great. Sitting back here is not bad, actually. I could sit back here for a road trip. I don't have a ton of leg room, but I love that these seats are adjustable. So on so many SUVs, excuse me, and crossovers, the second row is not adjustable, and that's a problem. And another thing I like about this SUV is that the headrests kind of slide up and down. They don't fold up, so that's neat. But there's good room back here. So you can fit 6 people here because these are captain's chairs. And it's a very functional space. You have a little cubby here, cup holder there, a vent right here. You don't have charging ports anywhere, but this is nice. You could not fit a third person. You could in an emergency, but it would be super uncomfortable. Okay, and again, with the seat back, the head restraints, you just slide them up, and they go down like a traditional one where you pinch here and you push it down. So I think the utility in this vehicle is great. Let's go ahead and get out. And I will say, I do prefer the Telluride. If you watch my video on it, it's the best use of space I've seen in a mid-size third-row SUV. But stepping into this SUV, it's not a high step in. The height is comfortable. So you feel like you're sitting up, but not in like a pickup truck. But you do sit a little bit lower than the hood line, or a little bit recessed to me. Excuse me, if that makes sense. But this is nice. You have your automatic parking brake. A huge cubby area in here. You know, you got your SD card. I'm assuming that's for navigation, media. And these, I mean, these doors and things are very basic. So they save a lot of the fancy stuff for upper trim lines and, you know, colored stitching probably for Audis and things like that. Keyless, you know, push button start. There's the button there. This is a very typical transmission stock or lever. But yeah, and then looking back here, this is an excellent SUV. So if I needed a, third row SUV that seated 6, I'd probably get the Telluride first and this Atlas second. But just the ease of use, and again, if you had a pet, this would be a great little tunnel for them to be in. And I really like this SUV, but if I was primarily seating 5 people or needing seating for 5, I would actually take the Sport model. All right, so in conclusion, I was absolutely wrong. I would 100% take the Atlas Cross Sport over the regular Atlas. And these are a year apart. So this is a 2020, this is a 2019. This vehicle feels like it's 3 years newer. I mean, the interior just looks better. The styling is better. The wheels are better. The stance is better. And this looks like a more traditional SUV. And then one thing to detract from this Atlas is that it does not make, for its footprint, this uses its space more efficiently. This is a 6-seater, this is a 5-seater, so you're seating one extra person, but the footprint is that much bigger, and it just feels more cumbersome without even driving it and getting in. This is much more of a modern take, good feel, very good use of space. I love the cargo area. And honestly, the hassle of flipping seats up and down is not worth it when you just get extra seating for one more person. 6 versus 5, there's no contest. So the Atlas Sport is 100%. I would take that 2 times over the regular Atlas. So